the end of January. Can we say Happy New Year? I think we can, can't we?
Maybe.
Welcome to Studio Snack, the first episode of 2023. I'm Lydia Thornley, a designer, creative director and live sketcher.
And I'm Narciso Oleda, creative and modernist wannabe.
This month we're talking about broken biscuits and what they tell us about design. In 1920s biscuit factories, broken or reject biscuits were a perk of the job. Workers could buy them at the end of the week, or they got some with their wages. I thought it was a kind of company largesse, but there was a point to it. Biscuit workers were often watched, and they were searched at the end of their shift. Stealing was a sackable offence. But why would you steal if you were being given biscuits for free or at low cost? Workers' kids did well too. I found a lovely story in the Liverpool Echo about someone who, as a kid with a bag of reject penguin biscuits, felt untouchable in the school playground, except in the summer when the chocolate would melt. Now, I'd always thought of broken biscuits as something from history, but it seems that in 2021 they had a moment. For over 20 years, the House of Lancaster has been making assortments from factory misshapes and cracked or broken biscuits, but shoppers didn't know about them until they went viral on TikTok. Suddenly people were raving about them. And we're interested in this story because it turns waste into something valuable. It made us think of the Japanese technique of Kintsugi, the painstaking process of mending pottery with gold. Narcis, you've been learning Japanese, haven't you? So over to you.
So, kin means gold and tsugi means join or patch. So basically it's literally joined by gold. And the original goes so far that there are many theories where it comes from. Many of these theories point China, but what made it, or who made it very popular, was Japan. Also very, very attached to the philosophy of wabi-sabi, the embracing imperfection, which makes me think about Kintsugi is actually quite an interesting art because makes things a lot more valuable and a lot more beautiful as well.
It does. Then I read about trencadís. Am I pronouncing that properly?
Yes, trencadís.
A Catalan term that means chopped, meaning mosaic from broken pottery. So I WhatsApped Narcis when I saw that in a visit home he'd posted pictures of a Gaudi building.
Yes, so that was Casa Batlló in Barcelona, and it was the first time I went there, and it's such a fantasy house. It feels like you are in a tale. And of course, the terrace had a lot of that trencadís. Although the trencadís comes from quite far away, because Romans used to already create stuff from broken pottery. Catalan modernists made it very popular, and Gaudí definitely made it his signature. If you want to see something incredibly and with lots of trencadís, you have to go to Park Güell in the high area of Barcelona, which is where the trencadís dragon lives, which is also a fountain. Quite close to me because I used to spend lots of summers there with my cousins playing around and jumping on top of that dragon.
What a designerly playground that was.
So our experiment was biscuit kintsugi. We used icing, chocolate, caramel to join some biscuits. Also I included some edible gold to make it a little bit more exciting. And if you want to see our creations, follow us on Instagram and you'll see what we've been up to.
Yeah, I cheated slightly because I baked some biscuits, and that was because I had a cold and I didn't want to get my germs all over the broken biscuits. But Narcis, you did some amazing stuff. I loved the herd of cows you made from malted milk biscuits. That was absolutely genius.
That was really fun. It was 1 kilo and 300 grams of biscuits. That half of it went into the experiment, but the other half into my mouth.
We tend to think of circularity as a new thing, don't we? But looking to the past turns up wonderful modern examples and opportunities to experiment ourselves. I'm going to be making a wall hanging from scraps for an exhibition I've got coming up.
I think that's going to make it more interesting and also more valuable because you're making something out of something that would have been thrown away. I actually have one of your paintings that you used a little scrap paper, and I like seeing some of the shapes that you recognize as a cardboard box. Nowadays it's quite difficult to give second life to things because it's quite difficult to open. It's just been programmed like this way. But I like watching the repair shop and see how...
Program.
Yes, great. And see how they give them like a second life to the same product, or they make them look like new. I also really think that businesses should be doing a little bit more of that exercise where you can actually repair things. Hute Denim repairs jeans for life, so you can have your jeans repaired every time that they break. Or our friend Letizia Credidio that found like a fabric roll in the recycling point in East London, and she's been using it for repurposing it to create her the packaging for her loungewear.
And there's a community of makers in Hackney growing around a reuse hub that has all sorts of materials that you can sign up to use. And ideas come out of that. They come out of responding to things that you found.
Yes. Anyway, Kintsugi biscuit?
Oh, yes, please. Join us next month for another studio snack.